Life with me, Dead Ned. On today's episode, we're going to answer a question that's been debated worldwide. What is stickier, the Blob or Sliver? 1988's The Blob features a strange meteorite landing on Earth that contains a purple blobby substance that consumes its victims whilst getting bigger all the time. 1996's Sliver also has a strange meteorite landing on Earth, but this one contains space slugs on a mission to control the minds of hapless human beings and turn them into mutant zombie monsters. Both films will be rated on stickiness on a scale of 1 to 5 for each sticky moment. All the sticky moments will be totted up at the end of each film for its final score. Okay, let's get sticky with The Blob first. Things start to get sticky when a local hobo and his dog investigate a meteor they witness crashing into the woods. After poking around at some purple goo with a stick, it attaches itself to his hand. The hobo runs into mullet motorcycle bad boy Brian and attempts to cut off his own hand. Brian, along with Jock Paul and Date Meg, take the hobo to a hospital, but things aren't looking good. The Blob is now on the loose, dropping onto Paul and consuming him. Meg tries to pull him out, but only succeeds in pulling off his arms as he starts to dissolve. Paul's pervy best bro Scott is making out with his latest conquest in his car. He gets more action than he bargained for when it turns out she's already been infected by the Blob. The more people it consumes, the bigger it gets. At the local cafe, a blockage in the sink sees this hapless fella get pulled straight into the pipework, with the Blob bursting out and chasing Meg and Brian. A character called Fran escapes the cafe and calls the sheriff, but he's already been blobbed, and moments later, Fran hangs up for good. The Blob strikes the cinema next, first sticking the projectionist to the ceiling, and then grabbing a co-worker. It's not done yet, and launches a full-on attack on the cinema goers. The Blob pursues Meg and her bratty brother into the sewers, but his poor friend Eddie doesn't make it out. It also does away with a shady scientist armed with a gun. The shady scientist leader is next, as Blobby comes out of a manhole cover and grabs him with its slippery tentacles. They try blowing Blobby up, but this just pisses off, and it bursts out of the ground even bigger than it was before. After barricading themselves in the town hall, it looks like the residents are about to meet a sticky end. Brian attempts to kill it by freezing it, but only kinda half succeeds and is about to get big time blobbied. But Meg borrows a gun from this half dissolved guy, lures over the Blob by shooting it, and then blows it up whilst freezing it at the same time. I won't count that as sticky as it's more freezy. And there's one last cheeky sticky shot at the end that will give a bonus 1, giving an overall score of 69. Okay, let's move on to the stickiness of Sliver. The stickiness starts when something resembling a meteor crashes in some woods near a small town and splits open to reveal orange goo. Why do meteors always manage to land in spooky woods? It's not long before local hick Grant finds himself in the woods with a floozy named Brenda, and soon stumbles across some kind of space slug, which fires a slimy dart into his stomach. Grant returns home to his loving wife Starla, but strange changes are happening to his body and mind. Unable to contain his lust, Grant sneaks over to Brenda's house and shows her his best sexy moves. He returns back to Stella with the excuse that a bee has stung him. Grant has an impregnated Brenda locked up in a barn and is feeding her yummy rotten flesh. Actually, I prefer my meat fresh. A suspicious Starla finds Grant's secret stash of stinking dead animals. Lots of them. An even more looking Grant catches her calling the sheriff and shows her the goods. After being chased off, Grant goes on the run, continuing his animal slaughtering ways. A posse head off to hunt down Grant, who soon appears looking even more freaky, and on the hunt for cows, and whatever else he can flick his lethal tentacles at. A short chase leads them to the barn where Brenda is a little bigger than the last time we saw her, and things are about to get really sticky. Oh yeah, it's a mess. The slivery little space slugs head to the nearest house looking for people's throats to jump down and take over their minds. It's here we see how the little bastards have been conquering the world. This one gets a nice sizzling with some hair tongs, but the slugs keep on coming. And coming. And coming. The infected peeps start coming back and are mind controlled by Grant. Oh, that's nasty. Back in town, things have turned to shit. Even the deers are being mind controlled. And the locals are having a chow down, even on each other. Yeah, that's what I like. Starla pretends to give her marriage one last chance to a now ginormous Grant, thanks to his followers joining him. Literally. The sheriff has a plan, but still has a few more sticky situations to deal with, before Stella makes sure Grant comes to a sticky end. And here's a bonus sticky moment to finish off with. So Sliver has a final sticky score of 97, which means it wins this face-off of stickiness with the Blob, which had a sticky score of 69. So we finally answered the question of which film is stickier. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay warm and stay tasty! Hey zombie lovers, hit the subscribe button now so you'll never miss an episode. I'll be up to all kinds of things, from playing board and video games, reviewing absolutely anything horror related that takes my fancy, or sometimes just talking shit about my zombie life.